What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Isrial Modrimov. Get this. Modrimov is chasing world titles, and he wants Terence Crawford again. And he said, I said after the fight that I thought that I did enough to keep my world championship belt, said the 29-year-old Uzbekistan native. He said, right now, I'm ready for a rematch with Crawford to regain my title or to challenge any other junior middleweight champions. Currently, the WBC and the WBO belts are held by Sebastian Fundora, with the IBF title owned by Bakhram Mortazaliev. Okay? And, of course, we know what's going on with Fundora, which I'll explain later. But he continued. He said, a rematch with Terence Crawford is my goal, but I'm not sure he is interested right now. Our fight still has left many questions unanswered. I am sure that one day, if he is willing, we will fight again, said Modrimov. Okay? Fundora is a unified world champion. Mortazaliev holds a title. I want to fight the best and prove again that I deserve to be champion. I was a world champion and I deserve to be a world champion after August 3rd. Now my goal is to regain that status, said Isrial Modrimov. And let me counterpunch. 154 is very interesting. Okay, so yes, that was a very competitive fight that he had with Terence Crawford. I think he pretty much dropped the ball in rounds 10, 11, and 12. Okay. I think Modrimov was not as aggressive than he normally is. He may have, and I know, and I believe he done that by design, because he knew that Terence Crawford will, the more you punch a person, the more space and the more opportunity you give a person to counter you. Okay, so when you're punching, that's more of countering capabilities and possibilities to get hit your damn self. And I think he minimized that, but at the same time, he didn't capitalize on that. Okay, because what happened with Terence Crawford was like, okay, he was instructed by Bomac, like, hey man, you need to come on, get off that back foot shit and bring it to Modrimov. And that's exactly what he did. And when you could tell, being the smaller guy of Terence Crawford, when he started opening up, Modrimov started to close in and wanting to smother the action. Okay, and how do you do that? You clinch. Okay, because as soon as Terence Crawford started opening up on with right hands and throwing combinations, Modrimov was like, grab him, hold him, bear in the Siberian wilderness. That type of stuff was going on. You know what I mean? That Nurmagomedov stuff, that UFC stuff began. And I was like, okay, well, what's up with this? You know, let's throw those bows. And you really think about fights like that, when people play it safe, it does go against them, especially when they're the lesser known, especially when they're not the ideal or talked about fighter, or the pound for pound fighter, or the more important fighter, should I say. You're going to have to show how important you are in that ring. And that's by any means necessary. Not by clinching, not by holding, not by trying to suppress a fight in there with a guy that wants to throw those bows. You have to show him that you can also do the same thing, and you can hit that gear into another gear, so you can show him what you're about. Okay, and we didn't see that from Modrimov. Now, don't get me wrong. Technically, he did a good job. He followed a game plan. He was very poised. He was very patient, but I think he was too patient. Because I think at a certain time, you have to know when to turn it on, when to make that game plan impressive or add more to that game plan based on what's going on. And what happened in that fight, Terence Crawford started to turn up. And when Crawford turned up, Modrimov's supposed to turn up. And he didn't do it. All that being said, Terence Crawford may not want to fight Modrimov again, but Modrimov, based on his performance, you know, desiring to fight guys like Sebastian Fundora. You didn't mention Tim Tszyu or the fighter, or Victor Ortiz, or, you know, the guy that he fought before. I can't even pronounce his name right now. But the Ukrainian fighter that a lot of people had beating Ortiz at the time. Okay, so there's a lot of fights that he can have. Of course, you have guys like Jermell Charlo, which is a bigger dude, and has firepower his damn self. I think he's just busy spending that Canelo money still, and he's not as hungry as he used to be. And I think that's pretty much the tone, the trend of most PBC fighters right now. They get a nice little lump sum like Keith Thurman did, and just like Jermell Charlo did, and those guys, they just kind of fall out because they got money. And they don't really start looking around for new money or more money until that money that they had is gone, unfortunately. But nonetheless, I think Jermell Charlo will be back, so he is along right in the mix with all these other guys. So him wanting Terrence Crawford, I don't know if that's a reality. I don't know. But I would love to see Modrimov in there with other guys. I think that Victor Ortiz and Modrimov would be a wonderful fight. But Victor Ortiz fighting guys like he fought before should be a good fight as well. I think that should be a rematch. I'm not against rematches, especially if they're close. However, I think Victor Ortiz has his own problems with the fighter that he just fought. I was just looking up. Can't pretty much talk and text at the same time. I'm like, yeah, I'd like to. Oh, yeah, like I was saying. So that's what I had going on here. But understand, it's like, hold on a second. Okay, here we go. Virgil Ortiz, not Victor Ortiz. So, yeah, I knew something was wrong. Like, wait a minute, it don't sound right. Boachuk, that's his name. That's what I was looking for. So, Boachuk fighting someone like Modrimov, that would be a great fight. Uzbekistan versus Ukraine, that would be a very good fight, very highly anticipated fight, especially with two guys in the same weight class. So if he wants those type of things, I think that he should go after those things, especially if Terrence Crawford does not fight Ortiz. But we did hear Robert Garcia say that, hey, if we don't get the Terrence Crawford fight, we will go back and rematch Boachuk. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of precedent for that rematch anyhow. But then that leaves who? Modrimov with who? It leaves him with Fondora. That's if Fondora and Terrence Crawford can make a fight. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of fights out there, though. There's other fights that Modrimov can have to keep in the mix, because I don't think he really lost too many stripes from taking an L from Terrence Crawford, because everybody else has. You know what I mean? So why not him? But nonetheless, I do like the spirit of Modrimov. I'm glad that he's not all discouraged and feeling all down, and he's ready to go back to the drawing board and fight either a rematch with Terrence Crawford or one of the other champions. But you guys tell me what you think about Modrimov wanting the rematch or wanting to fight other champions at 154, the new brought alive again division in the sport of boxing. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!